Oh, oh. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to DRG News. Of course, this is technically both DRG and Roguecore news, but I think for now, no, actually, not even necessarily for now. I think things need to be specifically Roguecore for this to be a Rogue report. Because obviously, Roguecore is still under Deep Rock Galactic. I think as long as it's, yeah, I think this is still much more appropriately put as DRG news. And I'm glad to say that because basically what we're talking about today is an upcoming On the Horizon broadcast. Now, not that this is a huge surprise in and of itself. It's happening on November 13th at 5 o'clock Central Eastern Time, which I believe is 4 p.m. GMT. Well, they usually do them in the middle of the day, but either way, there being an On the Horizon around the middle of November it's happened 3 times now. As in, sorry, this is the third. This is the third time, I think. Not fourth. I'm pretty. No, actually, I shouldn't be so up in the air about this. But what I mean is, there's been one in April as well, and there's been at least 2 in April. But then again, one of them was this. Okay, this is the third one in November because there's been 2 in April, and one of those April ones was this year. Was April May time. Either way, November On the Horizon broadcast, not by itself a surprise. This one being about Roguecore in a large capacity, also not a surprise. But there are other elements to this. Let's get into it. It's not a very long post. It's really just an announcement that it's going to happen. It's an announcement of a broadcast that's going to bring with it fairly significant reveals and news, right? So this is arguably pseudo news, but it's pretty big pseudo news. So let's talk about it. We've got some news to share on November 13th. Big announcements for Deep Rock Galactic and Roguecore in our upcoming On the Horizon live stream. There you go, lovely picture, love it, very nice. Hello miners, there's something interesting on the horizon. Okay, on Thursday, November 13th at 17 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 1700 hours Central Eastern Time, we'll be broadcasting live from the Ghost Ship Games headquarters for another On the Horizon. Here's what's going on at Ghost Ship Games developer livestream series. Well, it's kind of specifically Ghost Ship Publishing if you look at this picture. Anyway, but this one will be focused on Deep Rock Galactic and Roguecore. What big announcements are coming? Well, we can't say quite yet, but you can tune in on Twitch and YouTube on November 13th and see for yourself. A recording of the event will be available on both platforms afterwards as well, just in case you aren't able to join us live. Save the date and talk to you soon. With love, the Ghost Ship crew. So very, very simple. I've told you when this is going to happen. What we're going to get is announcements on the front of both the game Deep Rock Galactic and the game Deep Rock Galactic Roguecore. There'll be at least one significant announcement for both of those games. And that is where we turn to the speculative side of this video, which is me going to be like, what the hell could they possibly have to talk about? On the Roguecore side of things, release date, basically. I think we're going to get the Roguecore release date announcement. We're going to know for sure if it's coming out this year or not. I personally think it will, although it could end up being in December, potentially. So we will get that from Roguecore. We will definitely get more footage, potentially even like the official trailer, the official early access trailer, I should say, because it's still the early access version, but it'd be a much more cleaned up sort of trailer that shows both gameplay and sort of like system stuff, like look at all these like meta progression systems and things like that. I think what's fair to expect is a release date, a trailer, and probably some other little tidbits on Roguecore in terms of just them maybe hopping in and showing some stuff like in sort of the dev kit kind of arena environment. They can just show us stuff that they've been making directly. Maybe not. Either way, release date and definitely some, advertisement-centric footage as well. That's Roguecore. Deep Rock Galactic. I just spilled tea on my hand. This broadcast will entail, let's get really pedantic here, will contain big announcements, plural, on Deep Rock Galactic. So yeah, the broadcast will be focused on Deep Rock Galactic and Roguecore, and there are big announcements in this thing. So at least one of those big announcements is for Deep Rock Galactic. Don't know what the fuck that means. Obviously, we know that as per the current roadmap, Season 6 is on there. It says it doesn't even have a year attached to it. All it says is will be planned after Roguecore. they could give us a release window for a potential Season 6. They could have small details on what could be in it, but I don't know if things are going to be that straightforward for Deep Rock with this. I'm not saying they've been cooking something that's about to drop or something like that. I don't think they're about to shadow drop anything. I don't think they're going to announce anything that is, they have a lot to show about it. They might announce Season 6, but they're not going to have anything to show. But whatever we get, it's either going to be just that, a fairly generic but also appreciated Season 6 mention in terms of like, oh, we're thinking it might come out in like the second quarter of 2026. Here's a couple of things we're thinking about. That'll be lovely. Or it's going to be something a bit more one note, which is like a potential plan for sunsetting the game. That's not pessimism, by the way. I kind of feel like I kind of want Deep Rock to properly come to a close with Season 6, but at the same time, big announcements for Deep Rock are a bit nebulous, because if you understand their approach, you'll know that Ghost Ship are very, very they let their ideas float. They don't set things in stone very often, and because of Rogue Core, and because of the very understandable expectation of some fairly dedicated post-launch support to early access Rogue Core for at least a couple months, Deep Rock is still not going to be on their main development bench for a while, and that means whatever's happening with Deep Rock is still fairly far ahead in terms of their development cycle. And like I said, they don't plan things too far ahead either. So something that is to do with Deep Rock, in a way, either has to be a fairly concrete plan that has an element of finality to it, in my opinion, or it does actually have to be something that they've been cooking, or it's in the middle of the road, which is a fairly mild Season 6 announcement. So I think it's either going to be that, it's either going to be a final Deep Rock update ever kind of announcement, or it's going to be, oh, we've actually been cooking something that is coming out fairly soon for Deep Rock. Those are my three main options. I think out of the three, I probably technically want the something's coming soon kind of thing, because I'm greedy. But I think the most likely thing is probably fairly mild, but also, wholesome Season 6 reveal of sorts. Like, okay, here's a rough release window, here's some bullet points about what could be in it, like, secondary weapon overclocks, a new bio, maybe a perk rework. Like, there are like 3 points of like fairly big we don't know, but all we know is that they're going to be announcing something to do with Deep Rock, and I don't know what that means, because you look at the wording here, they mean Deep Rock Galactic, they mean the game, they don't mean they're just going to announce the next holiday event. That doesn't matter. Who gives a shit, right? That's not what they're doing. It's not about DRG Survivor. It's not about Rogue Core, although obviously a lot of this broadcast will be about Rogue Core, but a lot of it will also be about Deep Rock Galactic, that game specifically. And I know that I'm being weirdly effusive about this, but look, we've been starved. It's just true. And that's because they're making a new game. You expect that, because making a game takes a while, but that doesn't mean they didn't have one on the go already. So it is exciting to know that something is going to get revealed. We'll see what it is. I want people to speculate in the comments. I want to see some speculation online. I'm excited. I'm intrigued. I want to put something in here. I will give a more intentioned update on this as soon as possible, but I kind of need to give a bit of an update about the channel, which is... This is why I'll, be more detailed about this as soon as I can, because I don't know for sure what's going on in this department, which is to say, I don't know that we're going to be coming back in full capacity. So we're not going to be streaming this, I can tell you that, because it collides with work. And that is obviously an element of growing up. Sometimes that kind of thing happens and gets in the way. But at the same time, I don't know if we're coming back in full swing. The podcast has been on hiatus. Basically, what I'm saying is, at some point soon, you'll hear from me whether or not that is more of a permanent thing. If it is, don't worry. It's been that way for a while, so hopefully you're used to it. And I still intend to do everything I'm already doing for the rest of time, to be honest. I don't have any intentions of stopping, and there will be plenty of Rogue Core content when the game comes out. But there's a chance that old Barrel Vision is definitive the old Barrel Vision. We'll see. I don't want that to sound hopeless. It's definitely not. It's not even close to being personal, by the way. There's no kind of like actual breaking of anything. But I just want to say, like, it's not 100% chance. But I will give an update on that sooner rather than later. What I also don't mind giving an update on is the now fabled Electro Mindits video. I don't know why I'm comfortable giving an update on this, but that's only because I've got some momentum here. That video is definitely going to happen. I can't 100% guarantee it's going to happen before the end of the year, which is weird. But it is going to happen. I've got some steam. It's coming. I've almost finished making the content for it. I've got all the footage I need. I just need to make all sort of the actual graphics of the video, and then just basically hit record to get the commentary, making a soundtrack for it, which is stealing, and then just put it together. It will happen. It's going to happen. I really like where it's going, so that'll happen soon as well. But yeah, speculate in the comments. I really want to know what people think could be announced potentially for Deep Rock, and that's kind of where I'm going to leave it. So if you enjoyed this or found it useful, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to see more stuff like this, also make sure to. Also, that shouldn't still be there. Oh no, it should. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and you want to stay on top of everything to Deep Rock and Rogue Core. Make sure to click the bell. Make sure to tune in for whatever video I put out on that day. I will cover the big reveals, probably in 2 separate videos. I think very likely a DRG news and a Rogue report. Probably how it's going to go. We'll see. I'm excited. I hope you are too. I'll see you then. Bye bye.